Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor. Today's What's for Dinner is a collab with my friend Brittany from At Home with Brit. She does What's for Dinners just like me. She does a lot of cleaning videos. She does grocery hauls. I know that you guys will love her channel, so please make sure you go click the link down below and check out her video and subscribe and tell her that I sent you over there. If you're new here, coming from Brittany's channel, or you found me some other way, comment down below and let me know how you found me. I share these What's for Dinners every week for almost 3 years now. I think next week will be right at 3 years that I have uploaded a What's for Dinner every week. So if you need dinner ideas, I got you covered. I will have a playlist down below with all my videos as well. I do these to motivate y'all to cook more for your family, to motivate myself to cook more for my family, and to give you guys some dinner ideas. So I hope that if you like these kinds of videos, you will subscribe down below. Any recipes that I mention will be linked down there as well. Now let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. It is Friday night, and tonight for dinner I am making a cheeseburger pasta, cheeseburger hamburger helper, whatever you want to call it. I'm making that in my Instant Pot. This is the first time I'm making it in here, but I'm basically just converting my stovetop recipe into an Instant Pot recipe. So I will have the stovetop version down below if you guys are interested. That'll be down there for you guys. It's been a while since I made it, but I was able to find it, the video for it, when I was trying to remember how to make this. So I'm starting off with a pound of ground beef. It's actually probably a little bit more than a pound. And I'm going to put the Instant Pot on saute on more. And I'm going to season this with some garlic powder, some minced onion, or you could just do onion powder, or you could do some fresh diced onion if you wanted to. Some Badia complete seasoning, and some salt and pepper, and I'm just going to cook that until it's browned, and then I will drain any excess grease. Okay, I have removed the excess grease, and I have actually turned the saute function off. Now I'm going to stir in 4 cups of beef broth. And I actually make my own beef broth. I use the Tones beef base from Sam's Club and just mix it. Oh, see, I didn't mix it very well. I just mix it with some hot water that I heat up in my kettle. So this is what I use, just it's easier. I don't have a lot of pantry space to keep a lot of cans of like beef broth, and I find that this is probably cheaper and a better deal. It's like $3 something and you can make a ton of beef broth with this, so I really like using this. And I've got that in there. So now I'm going to add in some ketchup, mustard, and pickle juice. I really find that adding those in helps it really taste like a cheeseburger. So I do about a tablespoon of mustard and about 3 tablespoons of ketchup. I really don't measure this stuff. It's just kind of eyeball it. That's probably enough. And then about a tablespoon of pickle juice. And as I said, I just really think it makes it help. And as I said, I really just think it makes it taste more like an actual cheeseburger. So I'm going to stir that all around and get it all combined. And now I'm going to add in my pasta. I am using elbow noodles. It's what I prefer to use for like cheeseburger macaroni. I have measured out, this is 3.5 cups of elbow noodles, which would be equal to 1 16-ounce box. I had a 32-ounce box, so I had measured it out when I needed 16 ounces before, and the total box was 7 cups of noodles, so half that would be 3.5 cups. So that is what I'm pouring in here on top. And I'm not going to stir this, but I am going to spread them out so that most of them are submerged in the broth. Now I'm going to put my lid on this, and then this is going to cook on manual high pressure for 4 minutes. You want to make sure it's sealed, and then after the 4 minutes I will be doing a quick release. Okay, all the pressure was just released. I'm stirring it up. The noodles should be perfectly cooked. And now I'm going to slowly stir in some heavy cream. I have half a cup of heavy cream. You could also just do milk, but I have some heavy cream that I want to use up, so I'm going to use that. And I'm also going to slowly stir in some cheese a little bit at a time. I have some Velveeta. I have 8 ounces of Velveeta, which isn't necessary, but I have some that I wanted to use up and get it out of the fridge because I've had it for a while. And I want to get that used up. So I'm going to use 8 ounces of that, and then some cheddar and some Colby Jack, just using up the last of what I already have shredded. And yeah, you could also use a Velveeta cheese packet if you want to, but I'm a big fan of using whatever cheese you have on hand. So that is what I'm going to do. Okay, here is our dinner. I just made a can of corn to go with this, and I already tasted it, and I think it's the best cheeseburger pasta I've ever made. It is so good. Highly recommend trying it. And as I said, if you don't have an Instant Pot, I will have the link to the stovetop version down below. Okay, it is Saturday night, and tonight for dinner I am making garlic butter baked salmon and broccoli. So I've arranged my salmon here on my baking sheet, and I'm doing it on parchment paper. It said just to grease the pan. I decided not to do that. I actually probably should have done foil, because I think the skin will stick on the foil better. But I've already done this, so this is what I'm going with tonight. But usually I think I do foil. I don't know why I didn't. But I've got that arranged on here. This was a big long fillet that I bought at Aldi, and already cutting it, I kind of regret it because I found pieces of bone, even though it's supposed to be deboned. And that's kind of frustrating because that means I'm gonna have to go through the kids, because I don't want them to get a piece of bone in their mouth and choke or something. So yeah, I'll be cutting theirs up when they eat. But I've got that on here, and there was a little bit left over, but it was really thin, so I just put that back in the fridge, and I will cook that in the air fryer tomorrow for myself for lunch. So one of these will be for Andy, one of these will be for me. The kids will split one, and then Andy will have one tomorrow for lunch to take to work. And then I cut up some broccoli. It said 4 to 6 cups of broccoli. I cut it up pretty small and washed it and dried it in my salad spinner. So I'm going to arrange that on here between the pieces of salmon. Now I've got some minced garlic. I'm going to take probably about, it says 4 cloves of minced garlic. I'm probably going to put about half a tablespoon on each piece and then rub it all over. Okay, now in this measuring cup I have melted 6 tablespoons of butter, and to it I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, half a teaspoon of dried oregano, half a teaspoon of dried thyme, and half a teaspoon of dried rosemary. I'm going to whisk that together and then pour that over the salmon and the broccoli. Now I'm going to squeeze half a lemon over this and then season with some salt and pepper. And then it is going to go in the oven on 400 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, tonight I am making asparagus. I have never made asparagus before. My mom made it for me once as an adult, but that was at least 5 years ago. But I do remember liking it. I have no idea how she cooked it, but I do remember that I liked it. I've just never tried to make it myself. But I saw these at Aldi. It was like $1.20 for this whole like pound bag. I'm not going to make them all because I'm not sure if anybody is going to like them besides me. Everybody is, I think, going to try it. But I'm not sure if they're going to actually like it. So I'm only making about a handful of them, especially since we have like broccoli and stuff as well. And my hope is that everybody is like, we want more of this, and then I'll make more another night. So I already rinsed these off. I'm going to snap off the woody ends and then toss them in my air fryer with some olive oil and salt and pepper. And online it says to cook them for like 9 minutes. So that is what I will do. And then when they are done, I will sprinkle them with some Parmesan cheese. Okay, here are our plates. This one is Andy's. He's got the asparagus with probably the most cheese. We'll see if he actually tries it. I don't know. I know the kids will at least try it. But yeah, that's Andy's plate. My plate, I have the most asparagus and broccoli. And then we've got some lemon on the side to serve with our salmon. I haven't tried it yet. It's still pretty hot. And mine did take 20 minutes to cook. So it's just going to depend on the thickness of your salmon. Mine was pretty dang thick, so it took 20 minutes. And then to go with it, I made this couscous. This is from Aldi. I always talk about their couscous. It's really easy to make. I do these instructions. They have stovetop instructions, but this one, I just boil water in my kettle and pour it into usually this bowl. And just let it sit for 5 minutes with the couscous and the seasoning, and then it's done. And I did 2 boxes this time because every time I make 1 box now, the kids are like disappointed that there's like not enough leftovers for them to have any. There's like just enough for Andy to take leftovers. So I made sure to make 2 boxes this time so they can have leftovers tomorrow for lunch. So we've got plenty of that. These are the kids' plates. As I said, they will split a piece of salmon because there's no way they would eat a whole piece. And update on using the parchment paper. It worked maybe not as well as the aluminum foil, because with the aluminum foil the skin usually sticks to the aluminum foil, but it was still easy to get the skin off of the salmon, so yay for that. But that is going to be dinner. I will probably update you guys on how everybody liked the asparagus and how we liked this salmon recipe. Okay, so I have an update on dinner. The salmon was delicious. The asparagus I thought was delicious. I don't know what Andy's going to think because he's still not home. He hasn't tried it yet. I do not see him liking it though. Like, just based on the fact that I like it, I don't think it's going to be something that he likes. And neither of the kids liked it. So that was a fail. But I still have the rest of the asparagus. I will probably try to cook it a different way and try to get them to try it again. I wish I would have recorded Elijah eating it because the faces he was making were hilarious. So that's just a no for them. As I said, the salmon was delicious. I will definitely make the salmon again with this recipe, but I will not put the broccoli on the pan. I don't think we liked those seasonings on the broccoli, or the broccoli was just not as crisp as we like it because it like had too much liquid on it. So I would probably cook that separate next time just because we don't like it. We like our broccoli really crisp. So I'll just stick to doing it the way that I like to do it. But the salmon, as I said, really, really good. It is Sunday night, and tonight for dinner I am making patty melts, and I'm going to be making a sauce to go on them. I will have the recipe linked down below. It's from smalltownwoman.com, and I'm making this a little bit earlier in the day so that I can sit in the fridge and be nice and cold. Everything that's going in it is cold. I just want to make sure that it stays cold. So I've got an old salsa jar that my immersion blender fits in, and the immersion blender isn't necessary, but I don't really like relish at all. I like pickles, so I don't really have a problem with the flavor, but I don't like the chunks. So I'm going to use my immersion blender to hopefully like make those like non-existent, but still get the flavor of them. So the recipe calls for 1/2 cup of mayonnaise and 2 tablespoons of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of grated onion, which I started grating the onion and then I was like, why am I doing this? It probably doesn't matter since I'm going to use the immersion blender. So some of it's grated, some of it's not. A tablespoon of the sweet pickle relish and 1/8 of a teaspoon of paprika. And I'm just going to mix all that together and use my immersion blender on it and then stick it in the fridge until we're ready to make dinner later. Okay, it is time to make dinner. I'm going to start off by pattying out my burgers. I've got a little over 1 pound of ground beef here, and I'm going to season it with some salt and pepper, and usually that's all I do, but the patty melt recipe says to add some Worcestershire, so I'm going to add about a teaspoon of that, and then I'm going to cook them in my cast iron pan, like I always do hamburgers. I'm going to try to make them kind of thin, but that doesn't always work out. So we'll see how that goes. And then I'm also heating up my griddle because for a patty melt, once you make the burgers, we're actually going to grill them. And I could do them in the same pan, but I just feel like it'll be easier just to use this. And it cooks both sides at the same time. It's like a panini press kind of thing. So we are going to use that. And typically for a patty melt, you would use like a rye bread or sourdough. I'm using sourdough because that's what Aldi carries and that's what we prefer. So I took like 1 piece, well actually 2 pieces, and I cut it in half, and that'll be 1 patty melt for each of the kids. And then for mine and Andy's, our burgers will be a little bit bigger. So I only cut off like this much of the bread and I just put it back in the package, and we'll use that for like peanut butter and jelly or something tomorrow for the kids. So those will be each of ours, and I will butter both sides of all this bread. The kids don't like Swiss cheese, so they're just going to have cheddar, and then I've got 1 piece of Swiss for me and Andy, and we will do some Swiss and some cheddar. And then here is the sauce that I made earlier. I'll put a little bit on everybody's sandwich. So once the burgers are done, I'll get everything on here and then get it on the griddle and let it cook till it's browned on each side. And that'll be it. Super easy. If you wanted to do onions, the original recipe says to cook some onions first before you cook the burgers, and you can put those on your sandwich. But if you've been here, you know we're not like that fond of onions. Like, we'll eat onions and things, but like I'm not gonna pile my patty melt with onions because That's just not me. So we will not be doing that, but that's totally something that you could do. And I'm about to also put some fries in the air fryer to go with this. Okay, here is dinner. As I said, I just made some fries to go with it. These are the seasoned crispy fries from Aldi, and I've got some ketchup on the table for us to dip it in. It looks really good. I will leave a note here on the screen letting you know how everybody liked it, but that is going to be dinner for Sunday. It is Monday night, and tonight for dinner I made a sausage and shells. I have shown this at least twice here on my channel, but it is out of this cookbook called the Step-by-Step Instant Pot Cookbook, and he has a channel here. It's called Pressure Luck. So this is his cookbook, and he has a video on this on his channel, but if you already have the cookbook, it's on page 90, and it's probably one of my favorite things that I've tried out of it. And if you don't have the cookbook, I will have it linked down below, but I will also link his video to it. It is super delicious and very rich and filling, so you don't really need anything else to go with it. It's got spinach in it and tomatoes in it, and I have never actually put the artichoke hearts in it, but I decided to try them this time. But I did not put them in the whole thing because I'm not sure how everybody else would like it. So I just chopped up a little bit and put it in my bowl, but they don't really taste like anything. I tasted one, so I don't know that anybody would notice, but I'm going to see how I like it first, and then maybe next time I'll add a little bit in and work up to what the recipe calls for. But yeah, that is going to be dinner for Monday. It is Tuesday, and I am getting dinner ready in the crock pot. I am trying another recipe from this Halfway Homemade cookbook. I will have it linked down below, and if I can find the recipe that I'm trying today, I will link that below as well. So far, I've been able to find the links to all of the recipes that I've tried in it, so I should be able to find this one on her blog. It's called Slow Cooker Caramelized Pork Tacos, and we're not going to be preparing our tacos the same way she does, but I am going to be making the pork the way she does. I've done pork before like this in the crock pot, but not with these seasonings or ingredients. So it says 1 pork loin roast, so I've got that in there. It says 2 to 3, so 2 or 3 1-ounce packets of taco seasoning. I'm just going to sprinkle on as much taco seasoning as I want. And then it says 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. I don't want it to be too sweet, so I think I'm going to do half of that. And then it says garlic salt, but I don't buy garlic salt, so I'm gonna put in some salt and some garlic, and then some pepper and 3 cups of water, and then I'm gonna cook this on low all day, 6 to 8 hours. Okay, it has been several hours. It is like 6 something at night, and I already started shredding this up a little bit, but I'm going to remove all of the pork onto this foil lined pan and shred it up really, really well. And then I'm going to pour on about a cup of the liquid and then stick this under the broiler for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, here are the kids' plates. We've got our white cheese dip. I think I forgot to mention where this was from last week. It is from Sam's Club. So, yeah, $6.88 at Sam's Club. So we've got some of that with some chips, and then my Mexican rice that I make in the Instant Pot. I will have the recipe linked down below for that. And then here is the kids' tacos. They just wanted meat and cheese. So each of them has one of those, and there's a ton of it. And we plan on doing some nachos tomorrow or the next day with the leftovers of that. But I'm going to go ahead and make my plate, and then I will show you that. I just put some cheese, and then I have this mild salsa from Aldi on there, sour cream, I already said cheese, lettuce, and then I have queso on my rice. And yeah, that is my plate. It's Wednesday, and tonight for dinner I'm doing a easy chicken parm. So for this I'm using the spread bag chicken from Aldi. You could use any kind of like breaded chicken breast fillet, but as I said, these are from Aldi and they're really, really good. We really like them as a sandwich, so I thought we would try something different with them. So I have got them in my air fryer. I'm only doing 3 right now. I figured they're so quick to make that I will just make Andy's when he gets home later. So I'm doing 3, and I will put these in the air fryer on 400 for 16 minutes and flip them halfway through. And then I'm going to heat up this jar of marinara sauce, also from Aldi. I'm going to heat that up on the stove. And then when this is done, I will put like a spoonful of sauce over the top and some mozzarella cheese and stick it back in there for probably about 4 or 5 minutes just to get that cheese nice and melted. And then we'll serve it on top of some spaghetti. Got that. Got some salted water coming to a boil, and then we'll also, you know, have extra sauce. And I think I'm going to pull out I still had some broccoli and some asparagus that I didn't cook the other night. So I think I'm going to pull both of those out and bake those in the oven to go with this. Okay, here is my plate. This is what it looks like. I know it's going to be super delicious because, as I said, we love this chicken. It's super quick and easy dinner. And as I said, I made the asparagus and then I made the broccoli for the kids since they didn't care for the asparagus. And I went ahead and cut up their chicken for them. But that is going to be dinner for Wednesday. Okay, it is Thursday night, and tonight for dinner I used the leftover pork from the other night that I made in the crock pot and made us nachos. Elijah really wanted nachos. He requested it like last week, but I had already made the meal plan, so I put it on for this week. So the kids just have some chips, the pork, some refried beans, and some nacho cheese, and also some cheddar cheese. And both the beans and the cheese. This is the Rico's Nacho cheese sauce. Both of these came out of a freezer bag in my freezer, and I just thawed them earlier today, and both of them warmed up perfectly. I've done this multiple times, but this was the first time I froze the refried beans, and it turned out great. I added a little bit of milk because like leftover refried beans can always be a little bit thick, and I prefer to use milk over water. So that is what we did. And then on mine, I also topped it with a little bit of lettuce, sour cream, and some of this mild fresh cut salsa from Aldi. So that is our dinner. And for chips, we actually used the tostadas that I had left over from last week. I made the crunch wraps with these, and if y'all know, if you've been here a while, you know I don't like to waste food. So I decided to break these up and use them for chips and use that for our nachos. So that is going to be dinner for Thursday. And that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. Don't forget, as I said at the beginning, this was a collab with my friend Brittany, and her channel is At Home with Brit, so make sure you check out her link down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!